Today we're going to go over how to use Google Drive. So first, open up a Google Chrome browser and type in google.com. Once you're here, we're going to click in the blue sign in button. Then you're going to want to enter your SuffieldStudent.org account. Enter in your password. And now we're logged into our Suffield School Google account. So to access your Google Drive, we're going to click on the 9-tile app launcher icon right here. Click on Google Drive. Now it will show you all of the files that you have in your Google Drive listed here. The My Drive button on the left-hand navigation is highlighted. This is where all of your documents will be stored under your drive. If you click on Shared with Me, this is where you will see all of the items that other people have shared with you. The Recent folder shows all of the items that you have been working on most recently. The Starred folder is where you will find all of the documents that you have actually starred and kind of favorited. I'll go over how you star and favorite a document later. The Trash is where you'll see obviously all the items that you have placed in the trash. The top bar up here on your search drive, this is where you can search for different documents by name. If you can't remember the name of a document, click on this arrow on the right side of the search bar and you'll get a detailed search, meaning you can search by owner if you remember if someone had shared it with you, any type of file, if you know it was a spreadsheet or a form or if it was a PDF, you can search by file type. If you forget all of those details, you can go down here and kind of enter in like a keyword or one of the words that might be found in the file or in the title. After the search bar, we have the question mark here. This is a great spot for you to search for any type of help on the Google Help forum. There's a lot of great resources that Google has put out, so type in a question and I'm sure that there'll definitely be an answer for you. The settings little icon is where you can go through and make sure that you have your settings the way you want them for your Google Drive account. Here is your general settings. Then you have notifications. This might be helpful if you wanted to get updates about Google Drive in your browser. They will just pop up in your browser. Check that off if that's what you would like. If not, you can just get an email every time that somebody shares a document with you or there's anything happening with your Google Drive. And manage apps is really not necessary. There's just all the Google apps that we'll be using in your Google Drive. After that, you have the 9 tiles icon. Again, this is the Google App Launcher. Here's where you can go to any of your Google apps quickly. If you click on the More button on the bottom, it will bring you to other options that you might have. The notifications little bell icon will show you any notifications that you have from Google, like updates or anything else that might be happening will appear here. I don't really have any notifications here. Then here's a way where you can actually organize your Google Drive into a grid view like this if you would like to look at them as like kind of icons, or click on it again to switch to list view. The information here icon will show you some activity that you have in your drive, things that you've created, things that have been shared with you. It kind of gives you a little timeline of activity in your drive. So that's basically how you navigate and look at Google Drive. Now to create any new folders or documents in your Google Drive, you're going to click on the plus and the new button up here in the left-hand corner. I always recommend starting with a folder because most of your documents or sheets or any of the items that you're going to create in Google will most likely be housed in a folder. It's sometimes a good idea to create folders for each class that you teach or subject area or grade level or anything like that. So go ahead and click the plus sign new folder. For example, if I want to label this one writing period 5, then you can click on the blue create button. Now you'll see my writing period 5 folder is right here. If I double click on it, I can open it and now there's nothing in this, but if I were to want to add something in, again, I can click the plus new sign. If I wanted to click on a Google Doc or add a sheet or create a presentation using slides, click on the More button. You'll see your other options for other Google apps you can use. So let's just, for example, say I want to create a Google Doc in period 5 writing. You go ahead and click on it, and now here's your document. that's actually in your folder. So what's important to remember is that each time that you're in a folder, when you click the new plus button and you add something into that folder, it will be there. So for example, I'm going to write test here as an example, and then I'm going to label it test as well. I'm going to give it the file a name here. So now when I go back into my folder, here you'll see, here's my test document that I just created in my Writing Period 5 folder. So if you want to go back to My Drive, you can go ahead and click on My Drive here. This top toolbar kind of will show you where you are in Google Drive. So right now we're in the Period 5 folder. If I click on My Drive, it'll bring me back to My Drive in general. What's neat about some of the options here in My Drive is if you click on a folder or a document in your drive, oops, let's go back. If you right click on it, you can see you have a few options here. You can share it with somebody, get a shareable link, move it to a different spot in your Google Drive folder, add a star like I was saying before. When you click on a star, a folder, or an individual document, it'll end up in your starred folder over here. You can also change the color of the folder, so if you like to color code things, this is a nice little feature. I just changed that one to blue. Again, you can right click and rename the folder, delete it, view details, download it. Also, once you click on the folder, instead of right clicking, you can also have the similar options up here. Again, this will get your shareable link, so you can actually share that folder with somebody else at Suffield. The plus person icon is how you share that folder out with someone. Delete it, and then again, here are some more actions, the same things that popped up when you right clicked on the folder. So these are the options you will have on a folder or even on a document in Google Drive. So here is a class list that I made document. Again, you'll see the same exact options when you click on it. So let's go ahead and pretend I'm going to share this folder with someone. So to share this folder, you can right click on it and click share, or you can go to the person icon in the top corner and click share as well. So before we even decide to share it with people, what's most important is to click on the advanced button and think about the people that you're sharing with, which will be your colleagues or your students at Suffield. If you want them to be able to access and change and share with other people, most likely you're going to want to always click on the owner settings down here, prevent editors from changing access and adding new people, which means if you give someone the access to edit the document or the folder, you don't want them to be able to share it with somebody else, most likely. So we want to make sure that we're keeping all of our documents safe and private in our Suffield Drive. So make sure we click that button. Then Google will alert you that you have to save those changes in order to actually keep that preference. So now you can invite people. Again, you can just start by typing in their email address. So if I was going to look here and you can find a bunch of people. Then the pencil little icon here is important to note. When you share something, you have a choice where the person can organize, add, and edit, meaning that they will have full access to the folder or they can view only. And once you select either one, you'll see that the little icon here changes. And that's how you would invite people via email to collaborate with you on that folder. Now, if you want to send a link to your colleagues or your students, let's say you're sharing a folder all about one unit of study you're working on with your students, it might be easier to just copy and paste this link, maybe on your website, or hyperlink it to another document they're on, or anything like that. One thing that's important to make sure when you share a link is you want to set the settings here. So click on the change button for link sharing. You have a lot of choices here. It's important to know that we will probably rarely ever use on public on the web. This means anyone on the internet can find and access this. Most likely you will never use this, and again, if you have any sort of student information on here, you never want to have it your links or your documents be public. Again, another option on anyone with the link can access. This might be something that maybe you would use with parents. Again, no information, but let's say you're sending out an announcement or a flyer. If you send the link to the parents and let's say they don't have Gmail or a Google account, they can still access it and view maybe an announcement or a flyer. This on with Suffield Public Schools options means that anybody in our server can find and access these documents, or let's say the specific folder that we're sharing. On, anyone at Suffield Public Schools with a link can access. Basically, this is the one that we're going to use probably the most. Is if I'm sharing a link with you, I'm going to make sure that only you, if you have the link, can access this folder that we're talking about right now. So again, once you set your privacy link sharing settings, you can hit save. Again, so that's how you can copy and paste your link out, or you can invite people specifically by typing in their email address here. Again, notify people means that they're going to get an email saying that I shared this writing period 5 folder with them. If you want to add a message, let's say I'm sending this to my colleague and I would just write like, hi, please look over my, this lesson planning that I have done for this unit and see what you think, or any sort of message that you want to include here to with the email, you would just type in this box. And then if you want a copy of the email yourself, you click on this box right here, send a copy to myself of the email and the little message that you put in here. And then you just hit send. And that's how you share out a folder or a document. It's all the same on Google Drive, which is nice. So whether I'm sharing a folder or a document or a presentation or a PDF, all of the share options are all going to be the same. So again, click on advanced, and here you can go through and make sure that you have the proper share settings. And that's basically how you use Google Drive.